My name's David O'Coyman. I'm originally from Dublin in Ireland. Kind of a hyper-creative. Everything I do in life has some element of creativity involved. I'm very interested in the intersection of art and engineering. My family have a strong engineering background. My father was an engineer on the trains, so was his father, and his father, and his father. I think we can go back to the mid-1800s to trace back the engineering in the blood. So I ended up being a product designer myself, so I wandered the world imagining better futures and trying to plot ways to get there. So for the last 30 years now, I have been product designing either on behalf of others or for myself or as an in-house design team manager. In 2004 I started another company with a couple of people, and we sold that into a very large energy giant in 2011. So just before I did Nook, I was a global product manager for that organization with 170,000 colleagues. It was quite extraordinary, but it was also quite illuminating, and it's one of the triggers that set me on this journey, because it was through that role that I became despondent at the state in particular of workplace and made me want to do something about it. What did they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. So too is frustration. And I was very frustrated on behalf of a quiet majority of people who I felt had been left out of the conversation.
Welcome to Cherry View Elementary. My name is Emily Sandy. I have been a special education resource teacher here for the past 4 years, but I've worked for Lakeville Schools for 28 years in various capacities, most of them in special education.
Why is it so exciting?
No, he's not. So our principal came into our classroom, and I share this classroom space with another special education teacher. Our principal came into the room and he said, "Hey, I have some really great news for you. We have a really neat product coming into the building. It's on the loading dock. We're getting 2 of them. The 2 of you get to pick what you want." He gave us no background as to what it was, what it looked like. I thought we were going down there to get a ball, or something really low level.
The whole idea behind Nook is to provide this sanctuary space, but also to provide this example of how easy it is to actually make a change and make an improvement on our built environment, which is quite toxic, from a sound and stimulation and overexposure point of view.
When we first introduced putty to students, even 10, 15 years ago, it's almost like we couldn't live without it in complicated learning situations. I'm at that point with the Nook. I almost can't live without it at this point. We use it all day, every day for a variety of things, and it's really become essential to this classroom. Our small group instruction is anywhere from 2 students, can be up to 12 students. They can filter near the Nook. They can address the student in the Nook if they want to include them at a higher rate, or they can really work with each other as to, I need a minute right now, and they're able to work within that. So it's a very nice feature to be able to make the world predictable, yet they can attend to the instruction at the same time.
It feels accessible. It feels like the kind of place that anybody can go and sit and feel comfortable in. And I mean that physically as much as I mean that psychologically. And then when you get inside ergonomically, I know people are not going to spend all day in these things, that's not the idea, but it should be comfortable for the period of time. Maybe it's a couple of Zoom calls, maybe it's a decompression because you might be approaching a meltdown, maybe there's been a meltdown and you want to recover more quickly, maybe you're at an event and it's become quite overwhelming and you just need to recharge yourself, or maybe you just want to recharge your phone or whatever it is in the environment that you're in. So it's all about creating that physical and psychological comfort. So it's not about decibels. It's not about how many decibels does this thing remove. There's a lot of misconceptions about measuring product by decibels. It's about creating acoustic comfort.